Ajayi. Ah, okay. Sorry. Let me adjust this. Okay, so we have Kemi Ajayi with us this evening, and she is the head lunch maker, Days Meals. Very, very, very unique and fantastic concept. She's the head lunch maker, and she lives in Alberta, Calgary, and she loves to, help and empower people, mothers, with goodness, and also encourage them to help their children to eat healthy. Kemi does an amazing job. I mean, when I posted her flyer, did you go to her page? Did you check her page? Just lunch in the lunch box, you just be salivating. So I'm so glad that she agreed to come do this with us this evening. Thank you so much, Kemi. I'll just bring you in so that we can. Thank you so much, Kemi. Thank you. I can't appreciate you enough. We need to learn today. Oh my, she's here. Good. Okay, good evening, good afternoon.
In fact, your introduction, my head was just swelling.
It's so good to have you here. It's so good to have you here. Welcome.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
It has to swell. It has to swell. Because I mean those fruits, those tangerines, I mean the lunch box is always so colorful, and I'm like, oh my god, can I achieve this for my children? So I'm ready to learn. I'm here. We are here for it. So please bring it on.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Like your intro, no. I should just be going everywhere with you. I'm like, oh, this is my friend Sandra. Sandra, please introduce me.
I'm ready.
We're booking you tickets to Calgary, straight up.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, from depending from wherever you're joining from. I saw a couple of my friends in Canada popping on the call. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Sandra, for organizing this. Like, I listened to some of the sessions during the week, and each session was a hit back to back, and I'm like, wow, this is gold. And to think that people are getting all of these resources for free. These are conferences that people go to and they pay lots of money to get all this information. So good job, Sandra. Super proud of all you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so I think I'll just start with a question for everyone who's on the call. So I just want you to give me a thumbs up sign in the chat box or in the comment box if any of these responses sound like things you hear your kids saying. So sometimes you offer them fruits and veggies and they go, I don't like that. I don't want to eat that. And then they start crying. And you give them something, they cry, and it's out of frustration. It's like, just go and eat biscuits. If you can resonate to that, just put a thumbs up in the chat. Or it could be that sometimes you give them broccoli or cucumber or a furry roll, good vegetables that you know they should eat. And they're like, I don't want to eat this. I don't want to eat that. And these are all things that are good for them, but no, they don't want to eat it. And I think that was how my story started. Because I moved to Calgary 5 years ago. And when we moved here, I had no idea what to give my son. I was the first time mom. So
Hmm.
all I was like the first time he went to school, I packed plenty yam for him, boiled yam, put inside thermos and sent him to school. The second
Hmm.
time I did potatoes. The third time I
Hmm.
did rice. And the fourth day, the teacher
Hmm.
wrote me a note and was like, you need to give him more fruits than veggies. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay, culture shock.
Wow.
and and that was how I started. So I was like, okay, how do I get this boy to eat fruits and veggies? How do I make it inviting for him? How do I make him even develop an interest with with all like eating fruits and vegetables? And through that process, I then learned how to introduce him to new food choices because we're learning the whole thing together. So like the previous speaker said, it's you and your child on this journey. So it was now me and my child learning together what
Hmm.
he likes, what we can try, what options, just anything that we could do to broaden his food options and to get him to eat more stuff. And those are some of the strategies I learned is what I want to share with everyone on this call today. Because irrespective of whatever country you're in,
Hmm.
children need to eat healthy. And everything inside you, just smiling and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you for giving me good, healthy food. Because
Hmm.
then you have energy to do lots of things.
Hmm.
You're more attentive in class. And I want to share just a couple of strategies of things that I learned on my own journey of getting my child to eat healthy. So, the first thing I would say is like we, as parents, we often don't talk about nutrition with our kids. Yes, we tell them, oh, this is good for you, this is good, but we don't really go into what nutrition is all about. And we have to let them know. So for my son, we started with talking about, okay, what are proteins? What are carbohydrates? What do they do for you? We went
Hmm.
into psychology of fruits, their colors.
Hmm.
What do the colors mean? This color of
Hmm.
fruits, when you eat it, what does it do for your body? This type of fruit,
Hmm.
what does it, how does it help yourself? And then when we kept doing that, sometimes we'll go into the store and I'll be like, okay, this is a red fruit. What is this good for? What does this do for you? And he would answer, I'm like, do you want to try red or green or orange fruits? And he would pick
Hmm.
one and he would try it. And that way he got used to he got more interested in fruits and veggies. Another thing we did was I took out like I don't really I don't like juice boxes. I have cookies at home and all of that, but then
Hmm.
I took out some of the things that um were not good for him and I wanted him to make better choices. So my fridge, I just made sure that it was plainly fruits and veggies. I arranged them all within arm's length. So if he wanted to snack on something, that he knew where to go. If he wants a grape, you go into the fridge, open it up, take it. If he wants mandarin or tangerine, he'll go to the where I store my tangerine, get one and eat it. If he wants an apple, so by exposing him to those things, then he was now leaning more towards those options. Yes, we still have cookies in my house. I love to bake. He loves to eat my cakes. So we have all those sweet treats occasionally because I didn't want him to I didn't want him to force him down a particular path. I wanted him to make that
Hmm.
choice himself. So for us, it was about just giving him the options and letting him know that, okay, this is better for you. This is okay. You can
Hmm.
have this occasionally, but this is much more better. And by doing that, he was making better choices with his food
Hmm.
and exploring more things. Another thing that we did was getting him involved in the whole cooking and meal planning process. So, like I said, we would go to grocery stores together, pick out the fruits and veggies. I would ask him, what do you want to eat this week? We would make a list of all the fruits and veggies we're going to try, how we were going to incorporate it into our meals, whether it was going to be with smoothies or if I was just going to just chop it up and put it in his lunchbox. But he was involved in the process. And even when I was like unpacking his lunch, he's involved in the process. Some of the things that I put in his lunchbox, he's involved in the cutting and the putting it in the box, like just getting him involved. Another thing we did was looking through recipe books. So when I was growing up, I loved to look at recipe books, and I realized that looking at recipe books helped me develop a passion for baking. And so I got books for him. I was like, okay, let's look at this one. We'll look at the pictures. And when he sees how the food looks, he's like, oh, I like this one. Let's try this one. I'm like, okay, what are the recipes? Read them out to me. Get to measuring cups. I have lots of measuring cups. I was like, okay, let's measure it out. Let's do it together. And by getting him involved in the process, developing ownership of the meal that he was preparing, then he felt like, oh, I made that. He would sometimes he would tell his friends that I made this in school. Like, you actually made it, right?
Wow.
You tell people that you made it. Who made it for you? You only did the measuring, but he's like, I made it. But like getting him involved in the process, it helped him develop that interest in the things that the healthy food options I was trying to get him to explore. And another thing I did was making it fun. So we used lots of cookie cutters. We used lots of things. We just tried different things to make it that when he sees his plate, he's excited to eat. He's like, oh, he sees a cucumber shaped as a star. He starts eating it bit by bit. Or he sees a sandwich and I've made some funny imprints on it. Like, it just looks funny and it catches their attention using different colors, not just serving bread and jam, and then you cut it in half, but like make it fun for them. Cut it into bite size. I think children are of different age groups, right? So there's some that when it's cut really small for them, it makes it easier for them to just grab it and go. There's some that are much older, like the 11-year-olds, the 12-year-olds. They may not need you to cut up food for them. But then, depending on what age group your child falls into, you can try lots of things to make them more interesting. Use colors. Like, don't just make it boring, make it very interesting and engaging. And the kind of person that it has to be visually appealing for me before I will try and eat it. And that is how children are. There's a way you can serve a spinach and it will look so funny and the child will want to eat it. And there's a way you will serve it and the child's like, what is this? Inyama, I don't want to eat it. So you have to put it in a way that it will catch their attention and they would laugh. As they're laughing, they're eating it and they're getting the nutrients into their bodies. So that was something else that we did. Another thing was there's certain vegetables and fruits that my son, despite all my best attempts at getting him to eat it naturally as they occur in nature, he wouldn't take them. One very quick example is strawberries. He loves everything strawberry, but when I give him the physical strawberry to eat, he will not eat it. He will take strawberry yogurt, he'll take strawberry jam, everything. He'll take strawberry smoothie, strawberry ice cream. He'll take everything, but giving him the strawberry, he wouldn't touch it. And so I was like, okay, how can I get this child to eat strawberry? And one day I just said, okay, I'm going to bake it. So I put it in cake with bananas. And I was like, come and try this and let me know if you like it. And he ate it. And next he came out and took another one. And he took the third one. I was like, okay, so now you can't tell me that you don't like strawberries. So you can find ways that you can add those fruits and vegetables. Another one that we do is spinach. He doesn't, now he started to eat the spinach leaves raw, but before he wouldn't. So then what we did was adding it to smoothies. So we would blend it with bananas and other fruits, and he would drink it up. Another thing you could even add it to is with pasta. Like you can add fruits and vegetables, put it in the pasta. I'm not the team. I know there's people that try to hide it. I'm not going to try and hide the fruits, and that's not what I'm suggesting. Let them know it's there, and you're encouraging them to
Okay.
at least try and eat it, even
Mm.
if it's just to eat a couple. But put it there and let them be seeing it. Expose them to it consistently. There was a time that my son wouldn't eat cucumbers,
Mm.
and I kept putting it in his lunchbox. I'm like, one day he will get eaten. We have a joke in my house that it's the fruits that go for excursion to the school. Like they go on a field trip and they come back home and they'll tell the ones, the other ones in the
Oh
house,
my God.
oh, we went to
We
school
have
today.
fun.
We came back.
Oh
School
my
is fun. And I'm like,
God.
one day those fruits will
Mm.
not come home. And one day
Yeah.
we were coming home from school, and in
Mm.
fact, after some time, I got tired of putting because I'm like, every time I have to, like, I keep throwing it away and or I make him eat it in the car. So one day we're just coming home. I think for like 2 weeks I stopped buying cucumbers, and out of the blue he was like, "Mommy, you don't put cucumbers in my lunchbox anymore. I like
Wow.
cucumbers." And I'm like,
Wow.
did they
From where?
swap you in school? Whose child did I pick up?
Oh my God.
Let me call your teacher and ask
Oh,
her whose child
whose
she gave
child
me when
this
I did.
is?
Because I was like, this is definitely not my own son. But then he was like
Mm.
he asked for the cucumbers, and I was like, you really want cucumbers? Okay, that day we didn't go home straight. We went straight to the store. I bought cucumbers. The next day, I put in his lunchbox, and
Mm.
he ate it. And the third day after, I did the same thing, and he ate it. And that was the end. He
Wow.
started eating it on his own volition, just because he
Wow.
was constantly exposed to it.
Yes, box.
And yeah, like even when they're playing, you can, or they are watching a movie, just cut up some fruits, put it beside them, let them be snacking on that instead of snacking on healthy food options. The more they see
Mm.
it, the more they develop an interest in it because they know like they would basically just resign to fate that this is as good as it's gonna get. We're not gonna get anything else.
Yeah.
Mommy's not gonna give us this.
Give
This
us
is
any
all we're
other
gonna
thing.
get.
Mm.
So we might as well just eat it. So
Mm.
I think those are just a couple of strategies that I made a note of
Okay.
things that you could try, and then like even like don't limit yourself into a box. So sometimes I send boiled corn to school, and he loves
Okay.
boiled corn, and he will eat it
Okay.
without complaint.
Wow.
But then when I'm going to send the corn, because he's much younger, I'll cut it for him so it's easy for him to just grab it in his hand and
Okay.
eat it and continue on with his day. And the main thing is because when we give them those healthy options, because the previous speaker said it, the food is not just about feeding their bellies, it's feeding your mind as well. Because
Mm.
when children are all high on sugar, they're more likely to be less attentive in class.
Mm.
And it's been a hard year for everybody around the world, especially teachers. So the least we can do is make sure that we're sending our children to them with as little sugar as possible. So that they,
Yes.
because they're surrounded by probably 20, 30 other children, and then you
Mm.
now send them with all the sugar and you expect the child to compose himself in class and the teacher is
Mm.
stressed, the child is stressed, they're not able to focus on learning. But then
Yeah.
giving them
Mm.
the healthier options, it helps them to be more attentive in class. They're less
Mm.
likely to get into trouble in school, less likely to be cranky. They're able to
Mm.
perform at their best. And the teachers don't get stressed. So this is a plug
Yeah.
for
Very.
all our
Yeah.
amazing teachers around the world. Like they don't get stressed when the
Mm.
children are eating healthy. The children are able to participate in sports. They can do lots of activities without getting unnecessarily tired or worn out. Then even when you now
Mm.
want to talk about the childhood obesity issues and all of that, giving them healthy options, it helps you eliminate all of the issues that come with childhood obesity so that your children, you're basically setting them up for a healthier future. And even when they grow up, again, if your child is healthy, he's able to take care of you when he's grown up. But then if he's not healthy and you too, you are now old and needing someone to take care of you, who's going to
Support.
take care of who's going to take care of
Yeah.
you? So the least we can do for the next generation is just to keep encouraging them, like just keep trying. There's different ways you you can try, just keep trying basically. You never give up. You never give up trying to get them to make healthy options. Get them involved in the kitchen. Help them develop their skills. My mom used to bake, and that was where I kind of learned how to bake. She wasn't doing it professionally, but she would always, like, we're always in the kitchen. When she's baking, everybody's in the kitchen. We're measuring the
Mm.
flour, mixing the butter and sugar,
Yeah.
and that got a thing. And that's the same thing we can do with our children. Get them involved. You
Mm.
never know what skills and what potential they have. So just keep trying.
Vegetables. So I tried it, and my daughter, surprisingly, she took cabbage. I was surprised. Like, she took cabbage very well, and she was like, "Mommy, this is cabbage." I'm like, "What?" So I have been shortchanging myself, and blaming these children that, oh, they are not taking this thing, but we are not really offering them, or even when we want to offer them,
Exactly.
we try to hide them, in other
Hmm.
things that they love. So I really loved that point that you shared. Do we have any
Yeah,
question?
I
Okay,
think like
Korede.
just Okay, just to chip in something quickly.
Okay.
So the reason why I'm not
Okay.
team hide it in is because the children learn not to trust you. So even when that item is not
Mm,
there, they become suspicious of
mm.
every single thing you offer them. And that's the same thing
Oh.
we as adults would do. If someone hid something you didn't like in a food that you liked, then that ruins that food for you. You would never
Mm.
go near it. Like if someone comes to mind and says, "Take this," it's like, I don't want. No, thank you. And that's the same
Yeah.
thing with children. Let them see it. Let them know
Mm,
it's there. I would like you to
mm,
eat it. It's good for you.
mm,
You don't decide to eat it today. It's okay. We'll try again another day. But I'm not going to stop offering it to you until you decide to give it a try.
mm. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Somebody said something. She said Corridor notes as well is a good way to instill basic morals, and you get to get the
um, in their culture's food, and then you try that because you can't be do as I say and not do as I do. Like it has to be you have to model
mm,
whatever you want them to incorporate. So like for me, my son knows I don't like tomato soup. He likes tomato soup
mm.
because there was a daycare he was going to when he was much younger, and they were
Okay.
giving them tomato soup. And one day he came out and was like, "Mommy, you don't make tomato soup," and I'm like, "I don't like tomato soup." One
Mm,
and like I like tomatoes, so I'm like, it's good. Okay, we can try it. And we tried it.
mm,
And I didn't like it. I'm like, I don't like tomato soup, oh, but can I
mm.
try some other things that are related to tomato soup? And we
Yeah.
tried other things. But you have to make an attempt. Let them see you trying your best. And then that
Mm,
way they're more likely to like, okay, mommy is trying, I can try it as well.
mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Kemi. And then I wanted to say something. Okay, I was going to say, as regards the notes you talked about, I would just love to encourage everyone listening, those notes. If you go to Kemi's page, you will be wowed. I can assure you, you will be wowed, and you will find those notes. You find those notes there, in the outlay, in her son's lunchbox. You find those notes. I think they are a good way to encourage our children, to eat. I know there's one here in Nigeria, Lagos, called Bible Match. It's actually a faith-based set of cards that you can, put in your children's lunchbox or in their bags or whatever, or put it around the house. But you can also get one that is related to food, because we are trying to be creative here. We're trying to, like that. That's an idea for me. I'll take that and put it in my left hand, as we say in Nigeria. It's when you hear mommy corn or mama corn, please say that again.
Popcorn.
Okay.
What did baby corn say to mommy corn?
Okay, what did baby mom say to mommy corn? Popcorn. So when your child opens his lunchbox and he sees that, he might just burst into fits of laughter. Yeah, just anything we can do to go the extra mile, because some children are really, really picky. I mean, on a few occasions, my son has come back with his lunchbox exactly the way he took it back to school. He might just take water and maybe the snack. Some children are really very picky. So I would love to go the extra mile, to be creative, to get them to. So I'm going to take that myself. Mama corn. What did mama corn do to baby corn? Popcorn. So you can get those into, you can get such funny whatever into notes and just put them in the box to encourage your children to eat. Yeah. Any other question? Do we have any other question?
I think we had a question. Let me see if I can scroll up and find. There was a question from. Okay, I think it was Olori Honey of Lagos.
Yeah.
She used to put fruits in your child's lunchbox, and she recently asked you to stop. Okay, so what kind of fruits? There are some fruits that are not very lunchbox appropriate.
Friendly.
Friendly, I think that's the proper word. And those kind of fruits, for example, like bananas, it's going to be very mushy in the lunchbox. So if you're going to send bananas, you have to send it in a way that it's not going to mess up all her other lunch, because if that's happening, then when she opens her lunchbox, then it looks very yucky and she doesn't want to eat it. So I would go back to saying, try and prepare the fruits in a different way. It's okay if she doesn't want to eat it in school, but make sure that even at home, she's eating those fruits. So I don't send bananas to school. I would rather send it maybe I bake it and make banana bread. But there's like almost every 2 weeks, there's always bananas in my house. So he eats his bananas at home because I'm like, all fruits are good, all veggies are good, so we eat everything. So maybe try and change your strategy, like how are you packing the fruits for her, and then figure out what works for you and her, what she would want to try. If it's maybe using like sometimes I use the silicone cups, the baking silicone cup, and that's to make sure like the things are not crossing over. So my watermelon is not getting on my cheese or getting on the bread and making it all mushy and soggy. But just try different things, and she may actually start asking for the fruits again. That'll be my suggestion for you. And let me see.
She said apples. She said apples.
Okay, apples are very tricky because they brown. And most kids don't like to eat brown apples. There's nothing wrong with brown apples. Like, it's still the same thing. But then they brown easily. So what I do with apples is, before I put in the lunchbox, I dip it in cold water and lemon. Nigeria is good. You can easily get your fresh lemon. So just a few drops of lemon into the water. It will stop it from browning very fast. Another thing you can do is, if you cut it, put it all back together and tie it with a rubber band. So that when she opens it, up, it still looks like you just freshly cut it. Because
Okay.
most of them, they don't like to eat brown apples. I don't like brown apples
Mm.
myself. I
I
like
don't
it
like
fresh.
brown apples either. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's probably one of the reasons why she asked you not to put it again. And then another thing is, if depending on how old she is, right? If it's too big for her to eat it in a go by herself,
Mm.
then it's better for you to cut it because she's not gonna eat it. You're just putting um load into her lunchbox.
Mm.
So probably try cutting it
Mm.
and just package it, like cut it into all the quarters, put it all together. Try that, see if that works, or try the water and lemon juice trick as well. And if she likes cinnamon, you can also sprinkle cinnamon on it, and that way it's brown
Okay.
from the beginning. If she doesn't like it brown, it's already brown. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Kemi. Thank you. And then another thing, we can also, one thing that has helped me, lately is that you can also juice all the fruits. You can just do
Mhm.
and, they will just down the whole thing, because it's sweet. She talked about pineapples, at the beginning. These are natural sweeteners.
Yeah,
Okay, I think it was the last speaker that spoke about it. I can't really remember, but pineapples
yeah, it
are
was the
natural
last weekend,
sweeteners.
Ebola.
Okay, so they would you can actually do a combo for some children. The texture of whatever you're giving to them
Mhm.
matters a lot.
Yeah.
Some children would never take smoothies. They just want pure juice. So whatever works for your child. If you have to strain the smoothie to get the juice, by all means do. If they can tolerate smoothies, fine. But
Mhm.
I just want to encourage us to go the extra mile, be creative, so that our children can keep eating healthy. Thank you so much, Kemi, for sharing with us. Please, after this session, go to her page. When you get there, I've talked about this like 4 times now. Let me just say for the fifth time before this session is over. Just go there and receive inspiration. But when you get there, don't forget to click the link in our bio so that you can get. She has a free, it's like an ebook. Yeah, you just need to submit your email. So you get that book that tells you about the psychology of fruits, the colors and everything. So that would help you on this journey
Yeah.
as well. So please go to Kemi's page. You will see how you can cut your fruits in very, very interesting ways that your children would never ever try to resist whatever you pack in their lunchbox. Okay, somebody says some schools here in Canada frowns at juice in any form. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Oh,
Yeah.
really?
So they
So
don't
they
they don't
prefer.
want so they don't want the juice boxes.
Okay,
So
okay,
like they don't want you to bring juice boxes and all. That's just some schools. Um
okay,
Another thing I've done with my son was I've done water like fruit infused water. So I
okay,
used to do that before, but now I just send him with plain water. Um,
okay.
but then, like, even if the kids can't take it to school, nothing stops you from doing
Mm,
your juicing at home. I get a juicer, get
yeah.
a blender. Saturday morning, cut all the fruits together. Okay, let's make some juice,
Mm-hmm,
and then they are
mm-hmm.
sipping it and like, ah, I made juice. I made juice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. And another thing I noticed, from your page, Kemi, is that there's yogurt. There's most times there's yogurt. Okay, so can you just tell us briefly, the importance of yogurt in a child's diet?
Well,
Please
for
just
me, it's
share.
more like dairy. I just want him to make sure he's getting a bit of everything in
Okay.
his lunchbox. I can't send milk because I send him with water already in his water bottle.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
why I was like, okay, yogurt is as close as the milk he's going to be getting anyways if I was going to send
Mm,
milk. So I
okay.
put yogurt there for him. And it's so each lunchbox, it's a theme. So there's a protein, there's
Okay.
fruits, and there's veggies, then there's dairy. So for me, my dairy is the cheese and
Okay.
sometimes eggs and
Okay.
the yogurt is always there.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then there's main snack. So the main snack, I just play around with different things depending on
Okay.
my mood for that for that day.
Don't
Thank
forget
you.
to go to her page. Um, where's her handle?
No, it's
Uh,
just Niger Canadian Bento Mom. I can put it in the
uh,
chat.
okay, please do let me so that people can follow you. So we can, just looking at, just following Kemi's page, there's no need to even think. You already know what you're packing, for school the next day. Just go get ideas and, come back to replicate. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Niger, Niger,
Niger
Bent,
Canadian Bento Mom.
Niger Canadian Bento Mom. Bento Mom. Please go to our link in bio so that you can get that material. It's
Honey
free.
icicles
I
put
hope.
in all the fruits and veggies. Like I'm loving
Yes.
that.
Thank you, honey icicles. You nailed it. Yes. Thank you. What that's the best emoji you can give Kemi right now. Thank you so much. Thank you, Olori. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank
everyone. So
you.
we have another session, the one we're supposed to have at 4 p.m. And this session, I mean, it's a very, very sensitive topic, just like the one we had before Kemi came on. Step momming and step dadding, like I would call it. Not many people know how to really operate in a blended family. So please come back at 8 p.m. It's almost 8 p.m. I'll be going live again shortly. And our guest is ready to unleash it hot, for us. When you look at her profile, she has the experience. She's qualified to talk to us about this topic. She'll be talking to us about how to parent in a blended family. You find yourself in a home with children, or you know what I'm talking about. Please come back shortly so that we can do this again. Thank you so much. I salute everyone that has been coming from 4 p.m. Tuesday, 12th October. You've been coming. I mean, whenever I take screenshots of the attendance, I'm always wowed. I mean, we have sometimes over 100. We have 194 people. We have 102. In fact, last night that we had a technical situation, we still had 115 people on the call. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, what's a conference without anybody coming to listen?
Alright.
Thank you so much. I love and appreciate you. God bless you. Bye-bye. Thank you, Kemi.
Bye. Thanks everyone for
Bye.
coming.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much for staying with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I said, I'm coming back in a couple of minutes, in about let's say 5 minutes. I'll be back. You know, I'll be back here. Please come back and let's learn together. I mean, all the speakers at this conference have been amazing. I have learned a lot, and I'll keep saying this. Go back to the replays. I mean, after one session, you're like, this was the best. And then the other one, people were screaming yesterday, this has to be my best session. And then the other speaker comes and they raise the bar. Please, you have to go back to the replays and take notes. It's been a great learning experience for every one of us. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in 5 minutes. Bye bye.